audience is gonna really like this first topic. We are starting the show off with the latest plot twist in the race for the White House on Sunday. I don't know if you heard a little announcement. Joe Biden said he is stepping down and endorsing Kamala Harris. Yeah, he has put her forward as the candidate he would like to see take on Donald Trump. And he's now being praised as a hero and a patriot for making this, what I'm sure was a very difficult decision. So the question is this praise deserved? And Jess, our reaction to this complete 180 in the presidential race in the U.S.?
Well, first off, I think the praise is deserved in this moment. He just did the thing that most people were begging him to do.
Yeah.
So of course, like, praise, he did it. And I do actually think it's historic. I think it's like a very patriotic thing to do. He put public service essentially like ahead of himself, like what's best for the country ahead of himself, which I think it'll be in the history books. This hasn't happened since, what, 50
Lyndon Johnson.
years ago? Lyndon Johnson?
Yeah.
He was the only other
This is
president.
history-making.
I know, but it's a little bit uncomfortable. This is a man who gave his life to politics for 50 years. And for the last few weeks, all we've been talking about is, you should go. He's not ready for it. He can't do it. So although we are all giving him praise and he deserves that praise, it also is a little uncomfortable because his end wasn't a nice, glorious end where he got to decide, listen, everybody, I've decided to pass.
You don't think he decided?
I felt like, don't you feel like there were two hands on his back pushing him?
Well, certainly.
A little bit.
But from the sounds of it, there's a great New York Times piece that basically details all of the happenings on Saturday when he's at his home away from home in Delaware recovering from COVID. And it reads like an Aaron Sorkin script. Like, it's so good. And he, from the sounds of it, he did come to this finally on his own.
I think, but only when he was presented with the data that showed, Joe, there is virtually no path to success. So I think once he made that realization, I think he was holding out. I think even the last few weeks, a lot of people who were telling him, you know, maybe Joe, you got to go, it would make him mad, they said in the New York Times piece. Joe would get mad when people were telling him, you got to drop out, and it would make him dig his heels in harder and send another tweet saying, I'm staying in. And we get it. If you've got aging parents and you're the one who wants to take away their car keys, try. Try.
That analogy.
That's a solid point.
But I think, you know what's interesting is he initially, when he set out to become president, he said he was only going to be a one-term president. I think people have forgotten that. And I think then with Donald Trump's rise, that's when he started to be like, no, I'm the best candidate to beat Donald Trump. And so the Democratic Party got behind him. They were really supporting of him. So now we're kind of in the 11th hour. But what an 11th hour it is, right? And so part of me is just like so excited and terrified all at the same time right now for this next part.
Terrified. I'm so excited. I don't know how I'm sitting down in this seat right now. Listen,
for the debate, like
the next presidential debate. Stop clapping. I need to tell you all how I feel. The next presidential debate is going to see a U.S. prosecutor against a convicted felon. Folks, get your popcorn. Trump spent a lot of time criticizing Biden, and rightfully so. Biden was not great in that last debate. Well, I bet you his team right now, I'm not in the room, but boy, would I love to be in the room of Trump's advisors going, okay, this next debate, what are we going to do? Because Trump is also not the sharpest knife in the drawer either. So I'm taking the day off. I'm sorry, boss. I can't miss a second of this.
This is going to be must-see television. And again, there's a lot of legalities because she's not officially the candidate yet.
You're right.
There is still a lot that's got to happen. Even Trump's team is trying to challenge the legality of all of this. But if the money has anything to say about it, Joe was having a hard time keeping up with the fundraising that Team Trump was doing, who was just making so much money. And in one day that Kamala was announced, they made almost $50 million. In one day. That tells you that the Democratic Party and all the financial supporters are really behind this idea. So show me another candidate who thinks they want to poke their nose into the race and make that kind of
It's interesting that some people are still, like, it's basically everyone's coming out today and even yesterday and supporting her. But some people, including like Barack Obama and the last time I checked, Nancy Pelosi, are sort of holding back from publicly endorsing Kamala out of the gate. And sorry.
And I say that because Team Trump, just FYI, Team Trump is personally calling her the wrong name. They're calling her What did you say?
I'm not going to say
Kamala.
it again. I do it as
They're
soon
purposely doing it.
as
Sorry, I just say that because that was an accident.
Absolutely.
But Team Trump is doing Kamala.
Yeah.
Kamala on purpose.
And I want to talk about that because people were talking about that this morning. The political analysts were talking about the fact that Barack Obama and Elizabeth Warren and Nancy Pelosi hasn't said anything, but they said
Elizabeth Warren now has.
Yeah, she has now, right? Okay, they don't want to seem disingenuous because remember, just days ago they were also saying Biden is the right guy for the job. So they're trying to be respectful of Biden and give him that time to do his public address because he hasn't done. He put it out by social media, which is very interesting, and that's also being discussed. But that's why they haven't gone public yet.
Okay, here's the bigger question, ladies.
I think they don't want to put their thumb on the scale. I don't think they want to tip it because this can't be a coronation. It's got to be democratic.
Through the process. Good
don't
point.
You feel? Yeah.
The biggest question I have for all of you, and all of you, is America ready for their first female, Black, and South Asian president?
Oh, that's such a big question.
It does, and what I have seen that when you talked about my hope and my excitement, and then also my fears, it was partially around what I was seeing online. There was a lot of immediate support. There were some people, some famous people coming forward talking about how exciting this was. But then there were people, a lot of women, I got to say, who were coming forward and trying to throw out some of her bad track record, some of the fact that she's kind of been an awkward speaker at times. Some people who were saying like, if she's not coming out with this position on this particular issue, then I don't want anything to do with her. And that to me was very disheartening. I think what we need to do is see Americans, and in particular American women, get together on this and really move forward. She's not going to be the perfect, no one's the perfect
Learn
candidate.
from what you did to Hillary Clinton when she was against Donald Trump, because a lot of that happened.
Lesson. It feels like she's too right for the left, and according to the right, she's like radical. She's radical.
But they're also saying that it would be career suicide for any other Democrat at this point to poke their nose and say, actually, I want to contest. I might want to no, don't do that.
No, it's true.
This is the final hour. We all have to be on board, and just like the Republicans do, we have to be about the party and push through and make sure she wins.
You know what's going to be wild? I know we have to go to break. Trump is it's so hard to keep him on his notes. It's so hard to keep him reading the teleprompter. And can you imagine him trying to be trained for that, hopefully, debate in mid-September, trying to keep all of his sexist, racist talk out of his mouth when he has to think on his feet in the middle of a debate? I can't wait!
I told you. I'm calling in sick.
Can I just
I'm not feeling well today.
Yes. I don't know if everyone saw this, but I want to end with this tweet that Kamala put out very recently, if not today. She wrote, I prosecuted sex predators. Trump is one. I shut down for-profit scam colleges. He ran one. I held big banks accountable. He's owned by them. I'm not just prepared to take on Trump, I'm prepared to beat him. So that energy. Stay tuned.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.